team will take home the trophy, and each person will get a trophy. Also, they receive a gift basket and some phone cards. So, if you win, you're winning big trophies, gift baskets, and phone cards. And of course, if you place second, you'll get medals and some phone cards. So everyone is a winner. So no one goes home empty. But guess what happened? All students, all persons who took part from last week to now, team will take home the trophy, and each person will get a trophy. Also, they receive a gift basket and some phone cards. So, if you win, so each person will all receive medals at the end of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you are now ready for the match. If you're ready for the match, let me hear some noise. Give me some noise. Let me hear some noise.
Yay!
Yeah.
Yay!
That's true.
All right. And of course, I want to big up our friends over by YouTube. We're live on YouTube, and we ask that if you want your friends and family to join you at home, you can just allow them to search for the St. George's College page, and you should be seeing us here live. And of course, I've put the link in the chat, but we're live on YouTube, and of course, you can follow on YouTube. Tell your friends, tell your family members if they want to listen, to be a part of the debate. Simply go to YouTube, search for the St. George's College official, and they will see it. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live on YouTube, we're live in Zoom, and that means it's time for us to have the match. Can I now have our debaters? You can now turn on your cameras. All right, debaters, I'm going to pin you to the screen so we're all seeing you. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we're almost there. Again, I'm going to ask that you keep your mics closed for this debate. All right, so debaters, if your cameras are on, I'll be able to pin you. If your cameras are not on, I'll not be able to pin you. I'm not seeing all the debaters. Give me 1 minute. All right. We're almost there. So at home, you can make adjustment to your screen. So you should be able to see all the competitors on your screen. So I'm now seeing Bogle, Hales, Brown, Bramwell, Wright. And Abigail seems to be the last person. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please look to your screen. You should be seeing all the debaters on your screen. They should be pinned to your screen, so you should be able to see the debaters at this time. Now, let me just remind you of the mood, even though it will be said by the competitors. And of course, we have the opposition and the proposition. Be it resolved that the imposed lockdown by the government is unnecessary and does not aid in the reduction of the spike in COVID-19 cases. Ladies and gentlemen, judges, are you ready?
Ready?
All right, I hear my head judge ready. She's ready and rearing to go. It's now time for us to hear from the proposing team. And the proposing team for this one is the Lower school, are you ready? First speaker, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Timekeeper, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, parents, admin, staff members, we are ready for this showdown. Timekeeper, first speaker, you can now start.
The Bible in John chapter 3 tells the story of Nicodemus. He was a big shot religious leader. He went to Jesus at night to talk about salvation. I now have a riddle for you. What do all these things have in common? Nicodemus, COVID-19, honorable judges, my distinguished colleagues, or able opponents, and well-wishers, good afternoon. It is with great conviction that my teammates and I stand in unity to propose the moot, be it resolved. The imposed lockdown by the government is unnecessary and does not aid in the reduction of COVID-19 cases. As first speaker,
On
I will provide you with a clear understanding of the mood, as well as introduce you to some related ideas. My second speaker will further elaborate as well as present some unequivocal evidence that our stance is indeed correct. Then our third speaker will open your eyes to the light of truth. Now, firstly, please allow me to break down the mood so we can all be in one accord. According to the Pocket Oxford Dictionary, here are the definitions of key terms from the mood. Impose means to force compliance with. Lockdown means an official order to control the movement of people or vehicles. Unnecessary means not needed. Aid means to help. And reduction is an act of making something less. With these definitions in mind, please allow me to redefine the mood. To read, the forced compliance with the official order to control the movement of the people by the government is not needed and does not help in making COVID-19 cases less. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I am forced to quote Mr. Ernie Smith, who sang, "Well, it must be a duppy or a gunman. I'm not find out yet." Because these lockdown measures would suggest that COVID-19 has a preference for nighttime, weekends, and loves privacy. All jokes aside, these measures are not only impractical, but they are bordering suicidal. For it must be that there is a desire to kill the economy. Additionally, you and I know from watching the videos of the people in large gatherings in secluded areas running and hiding upon the approach of the security forces, or some of our brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, or whomever it is attending some house or bar party during these lockdowns. Prior to the onset of COVID-19, the JCF and the JDF were struggling to maintain law and order by enforcing the laws of the land. And COVID enforcement to their plate, and I dare say it is not possible. They do not have the manpower to chase people into their homes all over the country. And besides, you know the resilience of Jamaicans. So the stories are told of the bars and restaurants now hosting weekday early settings parties. In closing, I would even venture to be barefaced and say that these lockdowns are a breach of our basic human rights. Children without proper support have dropped out of school. Families now in shambles as parents are forced to stay home without a means to support themselves and their family members. Judges, opponents, ladies and gentlemen, it is a crying shame and national disgrace that the government, tasked with securing the best conditions for its citizenry, has found it best to use these horrible lockdowns to force us into psychological, financial, and even spiritual ruin. As we progress, my colleagues will further divulge relevant information to take you from the darkness that has been inflicted upon us into the marvelous light called truth. These lockdowns are unnecessary and do not cause a reduction in COVID 19 cases. And for those still wondering about the riddle, the answer is they all seem to be nocturnal. I thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, first speaker from the proposing team, Nicodemus. Oh my, spiritually, mentally, physically. First speaker come out batting well. Let us now hear from the opposing team, the first speaker from the opposing team. First speaker from the opposing team.
In the interest of time, I will begin after three. One, two. Judges, teammates, members of the audience, master of time, and my humble opponents, good afternoon. We, the opposition, are in complete disagreement with the motion. The imposed lockdown by the government is unnecessary and does not aid in the reduction of the spike in COVID 19 cases. Before I get into the meat of the matter, let us examine the moods and clear up all misconceptions you, my opponents, clearly have. Firstly, lockdown. According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, a lockdown is a temporary condition imposed by governmental authorities in which people are required to stay in their houses, their homes, and refrain from or limit activities outside involving public contact. The Merriam-Webster dictionary also simply defines the word unnecessary as not needed. The Cambridge dictionary defines aid as help or support. It defines reduction as the act of making something or of something becoming smaller in size, amount, degree, importance, etc. Finally, a spike is a very high amount, price, or level, usually before a fall. Now, just after understanding the mood, it is impractical that the lockdown is unnecessary and does not provide aid in decreasing the high amount of COVID 19 cases. The government was chosen by us to lead us, to take care of us, and most importantly, to put our needs first, not our wants. However, when they do, citizens are ungrateful. But hey, who can blame people for being ignorant? My opponents, how can you be so ungrateful? The lockdown is there for protection. What is the criteria for a thing to be considered necessary? My opponents, necessary things are things that may not be vital to our preferences, but important to our existence. Now, let us call a spade a spade. You want to try and tell me, my teammates, the audience, and the judges that you don't appreciate the lockdown as it is inconvenient to you. My opponents, forgive me for laughing. As I said before, it is simply ignorance and an act of being ungrateful. What is necessary in life? According to Career Addicts, the necessities in life are health, family, friends, love, purpose, wellness, water, food, and sleep. Correct me if I'm wrong. COVID-19 is a fatal virus, right? So that takes out health. Is that a point of information?
Yes.
Accepted.
You said
You said it is. You said it's ignorant.
I believe Nkala was going.
you stated in your speech just a while ago that a necessity in life is family. Now tell me, don't these lockdowns prevent persons from being with their family other than their immediate family who they would see every day?
My question is, aren't there social media alternatives? Don't we have Zoom? Don't we have WhatsApp? Don't we have Instagram? Don't we have messages? That's my question to you. No, my opponent, the fact that you could even say that the lockdown is unnecessary is inconceivable to me. Can we go back into the past? Let us examine the pandemic prior to COVID. Yes, the SARS pandemic. As humans, learning is innate to us. We learn from our mistakes, others' mistakes, and others' successes. If you are not aware, the SARS pandemic lasted merely 2 years. In order to combat the pandemic, Hong Kong had preventative education for the public. They came up with control methods such as compulsory isolation and surveillance of contacts, stopping school and university education sessions, temperature checking of travelers at points of entry and exit, district-wide cleansing campaigns, and you guessed right, a lockdown. Does this ring a bell? Sounds like what's going on now. We learn from others, and in this case, we learned from others that have gone up face to face with a pandemic, a deadly virus. So my opponents, clearly it is reliable and clearly it has aided in the past. So my opponents, how can you really say that it is not necessary to put measures in place to save the people of the country? Okay, so you don't want to learn from those who have successfully controlled a virus. So how about those who didn't? The Swedish government made a statement. You have to keep society open, not only for economic reasons, but for critical public functions to function, like hospitals and schools, so on. The government of Sweden imposed social distancing protocols, but no lockdown. And Swedish scientists criticized the government for their inadequate approach to the COVID-19 pandemic. They said that this caused, and I quote, many unnecessary deaths. Okay, it seems you might still be in disbelief. Don't only look at the past then, look at the now. My third speaker will come with the facts because arguing with me might be possible, but how can one argue with statistics? My opponents, I am asking, no, I am begging you to explain to me how the lockdown is not needed and how the lockdown doesn't and hasn't aided in the reduction of the spike in COVID cases. Research shows, accepted.
You said that ignorance and the COVID-19 lockdown is not necessary. But what about people who want to get accommodation for their comfortable life when the lockdown is attempted to initiate?
I already stated what is a necessity in life. What do you rather, to be comfortable or to be alive? I'll continue.
Well,
Research shows you cannot respond. Research shows that the contagion probability when a COVID carrier does not wear a mask and a healthy person does, the contagion probability is 70%. When the COVID carrier wears the mask and a healthy person does not, there's a 5% contagion probability. And where both wear masks, the contagion probability is 1.5%. That may sound great to a weak-minded person, but come on, staying at home is a 0% chance of contracting the virus. The Prime Minister announced that the preventative methods put in place have significantly reduced the rate of the virus being spread. Think rationally. Obviously, it was not only a simple curfew, wearing masks, or social distancing. Consider Sweden's situation. On April 13, the Prime Minister said, and I quote, "The data clearly shows that the tighter measures implemented 3 weeks ago have been successful in slowing down the virus. One of the main functions of the government is to provide local services such as poor relief, public cleansing, public health, and street lighting. You cannot please people. You cannot please Jamaican people. You want them to fix roads, they do, you have an issue. You want them to fix the street lights, they do, you have an issue while they're fixing the street lights. You want an immediate fix that is erratic and absurd. The government provided a fix, a temporary lockdown. You're making it seem as if it is every day. Come on, get over yourself. Think about safety. Think of your safety, your family's safety, your friend's safety. How can you say something that ensures safety is unnecessary? How can you say something that was proven to work does not aid in the reduction of the cases? How can you be so blind and not see what is in front of you? Why do you hate to be protected? Why do you hate to be safe? Why are you so ignorant to the fact that the government is doing their utmost best to keep us healthy and safe? The opposition pauses.
Well, well, well. Ladies and gentlemen, you have just heard from both first speakers. Ungrateful and ignorance is a common word. Want to be ignorant or ungrateful? What will happen? Let us now welcome the second speaker from the proposing team. Second speaker, is your turn.
Locked up, won't let me out. Locked up, won't let me out. Locked up, won't let me out. Whoa. The dynamic moderator, our alert judges, our diverse audience, and my opponents, good afternoon. My worthy opponents, let me see if I understood your babblings. First off, the loud voice will not bully us because you are speaking with pure emotion. Where is the fact? Come on, seniors. We are speaking about Jamaica. My worthy opponents, are you trying to say that the lockdowns are working? Ha! Listen while the teacher teaches. I will clarify all misconceptions. The imposed lockdown by the government is unnecessary and does not aid in the spike in COVID-19 cases. My opponents, listen up and be educated on the matter at hand. First, ladies and gentlemen, the lockdown implemented by the government is unnecessary, and it is certainly not causing a reduction in the COVID-19 cases of Jamaica. The positivity rate is higher in Jamaica than in most countries over the world. We currently have a positivity rate of 23.6% when most countries have less than 10%. These statistics were obtained from the Ministry of Health and Center of Disease Control, respectively. Now, my opponents would want to say that 3 weeks ago, we had far more cases than we currently have now, and that means the lockdown is working. I say categorically that this is not the case. Let us look at the facts. We are testing fewer persons now than we did before. Therefore, we do not have a true reflection of the real number of cases in Jamaica. They are simply putting...
Point of information, accepted or not accepted?
I do not accept your point of information.
Noted, moving on.
They are simply putting wool over our faces by lulling us into a false sense of security when the truth is the positivity rate is still too high. And if they tested the same number of persons they were testing 3 weeks ago, it will reveal that we are no different now. Let's do the math. 3,027 tests were done on March 27, 2021, with 673 new cases, yet only 793 tests were done on the 16th of April 2021, with new cases being 211. Of course, the new cases would be lower here. Is it that the lockdown is working? So tell me, my opponents, Isn't it accurate to say that fewer tests will result in fewer positive cases, while more tests will result in more positive cases? Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot therefore say that the lockdown is relevant or effective in curbing the COVID
Point of
cases.
information.
I do not accept. If all things are not equal, let us examine other countries that are managing COVID-19 much better than Jamaica. Many of them did not implement any form of lockdown. Second, we see the truth of the lockdown. What the lockdown does is cause people to do the opposite of its intended purpose. I can affirm from the observation that with whatever little chance people get, they will go out and they will crowd places to buy personal items for themselves. During these crowds, many people are without masks and they are avoiding social distancing. My opponents, don't tell me you are blind to this fact. This is seen all over the news and even in our own communities. I share your pain when
Point of
you...
information.
I accept.
Should we blame the public's ignorance for the lockdown procedure, for them breaking the lockdown procedures?
I do agree that it is our responsibility to wear masks and social distance. However, I can also argue that if the government was not implementing such the lockdown, people would not be so desperate to go out and fulfill their needs. I share your pain when you have to join these long lines. And don't you dare deny the fact that you have seen persons without mask. I recently recall an incident that happened when a family member and I went to buy groceries at a supermarket. The small space had around 30 people pushing and fighting to get inside. This kind of excitement caused a man to speak out and say, "Hey, a them a crowd and make people catch COVID, you know." Little after that, a woman fainted. This goes to show that there was little or no evidence of social distancing, and some persons were not even following the protocols. It is clear that these incidents go against the lockdown regulations, but how can we blame residents who are just trying to ensure they get the last tin mackerel off the shelf to feed their families? Finally, it causes psychological effects. Persons become emotionally and mentally unstable due to these lockdowns. We can see this being manifested in the way how people are interacting with their families and the rate at which children are running away and not going to school. These effects are very important and cannot be ignored, or else it will lead to permanent behavior.
Point of
Additionally,
information.
I do not accept. Additionally, the World Health Organization, which is the governing body on the health matters of the world, stated that they do not recommend lockdowns. This statement was made by David Naburi, the World Health Organization's special envoy, and I quote, "We in the World Health Organization do not advocate lockdowns as the primary measure for the control of the virus." End of quote. Now, let me ask a question, my opponents. Who are we? We, little Jamaica, we little but we Talawa. Who are we to dare go against the World Health Organization? I think not. Jamaica, as a global citizen, must work as a part of a team for the greater good of the world. My opponents, I trust that the wool has been removed from your eyes and that your brains have received knowledge. I do rest my case.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you were late, you miss it. Excitement there. Listen while the teacher teaches. Mm-mm. Come for educate you. Excitement, singing, statistics, movements. Come on, debate just turn right up. Somebody say me no lie, me glad me come out to see this. I feel away. But we're still at the second speaker at the opposing team. Let's welcome the second speaker from the opposing team.
I will, in the interest of time, I will begin after three. 1, 2, 3. Judges, teammates, members of the audience, and my most worthy proposition, a pleasant good afternoon. Dear proposition, I speak to you as a citizen of Jamaica, and I ask you to not speak from speculation, but from facts. And the facts that you have presented to us today, I have to question them. Are they credible? False teacher, I think. Well, let's go. To dispose of the claim that the imposed lockdown by the government is unnecessary and does not aid in the reduction of the spike in COVID-19 cases is simply preposterous. Before I delve into the why it is necessary, let me dispel the absurd ideology that the proposition's first speaker put forward. They claim that the lockdowns are solely negative, when in fact, there is scientific research to prove otherwise. Psychologist Dr. Amanda Gommer says that the pandemic lockdown has given families more quality time together. Never before in modern history have so many parents spent so much time in one place with their children. Whilst this is not always a good thing, for some families, the coronavirus lockdown has provided a unique opportunity to reconnect, create memories, and evaluate priorities.
So I.
Accepted.
You just stated and kind of synced yourself with that statement. You stated that while this may not always be a good thing, in most instances, it is not a good thing.
What is excuse me, I have statistics to prove that it is always a good thing more than it is always a bad thing. The statistics prove that most of the time it checks out 75% to 25% that parents and children are bonding more during this lockdown period. Therefore, your argument falls flat on its face, and I will continue. New babies and young children whose parents are now working from home or have been furloughed will benefit enormously from having both parents available during so many months of their formative years. Now, as far as I see it, this pokes a massive hole in the foundation of the proposition's argument. In addition, environmental benefits of planes being grounded, cars being parked, and factories shut down is unquestionable. Across the country, carbon emissions have fallen and air quality has risen. Now, let me assume that everyone is inside. Do me a favor, especially the propositions. The next time you go outside, breathe in and breathe out. Surely you will be able to smell the major improvement. I could go on to list at least a dozen more positive impacts of the lockdowns. However, I will not, seeing that we are not here today debating the effects of the lockdown, but its necessity. So as a reminder, let us not go off topic. With that clarified, let me continue in my effort to further the discourse commenced by my first speaker, who eloquently outlined the necessity of the lockdown and its role in decreasing the spike in COVID-19 cases. This opposition would even go as far as calling these targeted interventions rather than lockdowns because they are nothing more than the government saving us from ourselves. Citizens' own lack of self-control and inability to follow accepted.
You just mentioned the fact that the government is trying to protect us as citizens. However, what can you say to the fact that even the World Health Organization, this is an organization that serves to protect the world, not one area of the world, the entire world. How do you respond to the fact that they do not approve lockdowns as a necessary measure to save us?
You see, but the thing is, we have to look on what works. The World Health Organization does not approve it, but the statistics goes against what they're approving. I think you should ask the question to the World Health Organization. Do they need to reevaluate their information? Moving on. According to the citizens' own lack of self-control and inability to follow simple procedures bred the necessity of these lockdowns. Simply put, they brought this on themselves. According to the chief medical officer, Dr. Jacqueline Diasser Mackenzie, a lot more households than the ones we have interviewed have been affected. It is therefore important for the government to try to restrict the movement of persons to prevent further spread. This is for their own benefit as well as the rest of Jamaica's benefit. These are not my words, these are coming from a trained and licensed professional. If it reaches to a point where we cannot see this for fact for ourselves, then someone has to hold us accountable, not accepted by whatever means necessary. Why are lockdowns necessary during this time? This is the key question we need to ask ourselves. Firstly, we must highlight two important words: deadly pandemic. We can all agree that the pandemic has caused a massive halt to the normal functioning of society. Statements from a number of non-profit health organizations explain that lockdowns can have a profound negative impact on individuals, communities, and bringing social and economic life to a near stop. Something that, according to the organizations, disproportionately affects vulnerable groups. However, and this is a big however, major evidence from numerous researchers suggests that these stringent but temporary lockdowns are not only necessary, but also beneficial to economic recovery because they reduce the spread of the disease. The IMF, International Monetary Fund, for example, determined that while lockdowns impose short-term costs, they will lead to a faster economic recovery. The organization states that by bringing the infections under control, lockdowns may thus pave the way to a faster economic recovery, and people feel more comfortable about resuming normal activities. According to expert researchers from the World Council of Medical Research, it is proven that one COVID-19 infected person can spread the virus to more than 400 people in about 30 days. Now think of the time when not all COVID-19 infected persons as of today were quarantined and were out roaming in the open country. The virus spread like wildfire. This is where we see the plethora of necessities for the lockdown measures to break the chain of infection. It must most definitely be noted that the healthcare system has a major role in controlling the epidemic of COVID-19. Massive lockdown protocol benefits the national and global communities. In addition to that, burden and pressure on healthcare systems are reduced, which helps to serve the COVID-19 as well as the non-COVID-19 patients. If the transmission of COVID-19 is not curtailed or the lockdown breaks, the spread of the virus cannot be easily controlled. And finally, the healthcare system becomes overwhelmed. In closing, it is imperative to remember that the coronavirus epidemic has exponential growth characteristics and caused a global mayhem due to a high degree of contagiousness and an absence of a specific vaccine. Non-pharmaceutical interventions like lockdowns is the only prescription to battle this virus. Jamaica's 2030 vision is to make Jamaica a place of choice to live, work, raise families, and to do business. I fail to see how this vision can come to pass if the government allows everyone and anyone to roam freely with the current threat of the COVID-19. I don't know if the proposition is aware of the vision or if they simply just don't care about the welfare and betterment of the country and its people. I mean, that sounds selfish and absolutely insular to me. To reiterate, the lockdown prevent accepted.
You stated far back that the lockdown has.
Sorry.
Time? Okay.
Hello.
Is that time? Mr. Time Master?
Also.
Mr. Scott?
Statements are passed and
wait. So if there's an issue, just text it. So if the time has exhausted, let's say time has exhausted.
Okay.
Oh, my apologies. With that, the opposition comes to its second pause.
Thank you.
Also note that a POI can be asked in every 15 seconds if it's under that 15-second time span.
You're going in and out, Mr. Scott, so we're not hearing you clearly.
Oh, I'm sorry. Apologies. I have slow Wi-Fi. I was saying that a POI can be asked in every 15-second interval. If it's asked in less than that 15 seconds, you will hear badgering. If the speaker does not acknowledge the POI, it indicates that he does not accept it, he or she.
Thank you very much for that reminder, Mr. Scott. Breathe in and breathe out and tell us what you get. Two important words: deadly pandemic. Some people want water, some people want milk, and some people want tea. But the best prescription you could get is the lockdown. I'm not sure if you have a vision, but guess what happened? The best prescription is lockdown. Thank you very much to the second speaker from the opposition. It's now time to hear the third speaker from the proposing team. Third speaker from the proposing team.
Excuse me to say something. Maybe there's a bike passing, so it kind of loud. All right. So in the beginnings of no. Oh my God! I can't believe they let out the bully that do not know about the relation between good and pleasant. I wouldn't want any teacher like that. Respected judges, my learned colleagues, trained opponents, faculty members, and the enthusiastic audience, a good afternoon to you. I stand in solidarity with my teammates to propose the moot, be it resolved, the imposed lockdown by the government is unnecessary and does not aid in the reduction of the spike in COVID-19 cases. As my introductory speaker asserted, the key term imposed lockdown is defined as a force of restricting movements whereabouts willingly. Atul Gawande, a surgeon, posits, and I quote, that human beings are social creatures. We are social not just in the trivial sense that we like company, and not just in the obvious sense that we each depend on others. We are social in a more elemental way. Simply, to exist as a normal human being requires interaction with other people. So in its very true nature, which is to restrict, the lockdowns are asking us to go against our very nature as human beings. Let's do a quick review of it all. Jamaica's economy cannot thrive when businesses are closed early or altogether. This, in many cases, has led to the loss of jobs, loss of taxes, because without a job, you cannot pay taxes, and some people have even lost their homes. Secondly, according to the Ministry of Education Jamaica, only a mere 32% of students are accessing online school. My goodness, with so many students out of school, when and how will the education sector ever recover? This will be affecting us for years to come, bearing in mind that the future of the labor force is in the current student population. Now, what we will admit is that there are better ways to put a dent in the COVID-19 numbers than a lockdown. For example, a stronger public awareness campaign so that people are fully aware of the effects of and protocol for COVID-19 flaunt. So there should be stiffer penalties and even jail time for those who flaunt the measures and protocols. This should be done for businesses as well as individuals. Next, with so many persons losing their means of income, there could be an engagement of such persons to become COVID officers with the purpose of monitoring day-to-day activities and issuing tickets for fines for breaches, as well as working with the police as the need arises. Lastly, little research goes a long way. When Jamaicans travel, they gladly take shots that they know precious little about. COVID-19 is a new variant of corona which has been around for a very long time. The introduction of the COVID-19 vaccine now also serves as a real tool to be utilized in the fight against COVID-19. We believe that over time, the vaccine will improve, just like all other vaccines, which we all
Point of
know
information.
not accepted, comfortable use. Finally, when we lock down at night and on the weekends, the nocturnal weekender virus does not go away. By the way, vista any public building during the weekdays and the sites are alarming, even in the very health centers where testing is being done for COVID-19. People are being bundled under tents and trees awaiting testing. But I guess the virus remains partial to nights and weekends. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that the evidence my teammates and I have provided you this afternoon has brought you into the light and out of the darkness created by these Nicodemus lockdowns. I rest my case.
Now, third speaker come out batting. He went to English class. I wonder who taught him English. He come out vaccine. And he spoke about the weekend vaccine. And his man said all these things are under the trees and tents and all those things. And he said, Nicodemus, shall you wake up? Let us hear from the third speaker from the opposing team. Let's hear what will happen, and then the exciting rebuttal will come from the teams. Let's hear the third speaker from the opposing team. Third speaker. Everyone hearing me?
Yes,
Yes.
sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Seems Miss Bogle, are you here? Are you with us? Okay, Miss Bogle is not here. Let's just give her some minutes.
I'm. Are you hearing me now?
Yes, we are.
Okay, I'm going to start over. A mask is better than a ventilator. Home is better than Home is better than ICU. Prevention is better than cure. Adjudicators, my fellow teammates, my worthy opponents, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant good afternoon. The motion for this debate is the imposed lockdown by the government is unnecessary and does not aid in the reduction of the COVID-19 cases. Now, we as the opposition strongly believe that this is not true. Persons will say that you cannot punish the majority for the minority's action. However, the minority's action will affect everyone. It is absolutely ludicrous to believe that the lockdowns are superfluous when it is crystal clear that it is indispensable. Essentially, the less contacts people have with each other, the less virus can spread. Given the rapid spread of the virus, social lockdown is urgent to bring overall transmission down and see whether testing followed by isolation could be effective. This is all in an attempt to flatten the curve or reduce infections and spread cases out over a longer time frame to avoid overwhelming health systems. To reiterate what my first speaker said, statistics have shown that since the start of 2021 before March, COVID-19 cases ranged from 16 to 341 cases per day. However, during the first week of March, cases went from 341 to 527 to 723 and to 878. These numbers were a result of the citizens not following protocols. It is because persons are negligent to negligent of the existing protocols that lockdowns must be imposed. On a daily basis, you see persons walking on the road without a mask, no physical distance, and persons are still hosting parties as if the government did not specifically say that no parties are allowed. These warnings are clearly falling on deaf ears. As the old saying goes, chicken marry out the near, and who can't hear must feel. They are so blinded by the fun and games that they are completely unaware that they are setting up a path for COVID-19 to travel on. Are you telling me that the government shouldn't impose lockdowns after these perfunctory behaviors towards the protocols? There was a lockdown beginning on March 27, 2021 at 12 noon, ending on March 29, 2021 at 5 a.m. On March 29, the number of new cases was 289, which is a great difference from 878. Ever since the government started putting lockdowns on weekends, the new cases daily range between 72 and 489, which is an improvement from a range between 341 and 878. You can clearly see that the lockdowns are effective. So my opponents, your arguments that the lockdowns are unnecessary and do not aid in the reduction are futile. How can you argue with statistics when they are facts? China was the first country that implemented a regional lockdown of cities in Hubei province as a control measure. The largest city in Hubei province is Wuhan, with a population of over 14 million people, which used a full lockdown that lasted 76 days. Other countries later followed using similar Wuhan-style lockdowns, including Italy, province of Lombardy and Veneto, Spain, Russia, India, and the Philippines. All these countries have shown successful results from the lockdown, and this is the same with Jamaica. So why should the government remove lockdowns when it is working? You might say that at night persons are at home, but my friends, nightlife occurs at night. What is the nightlife? Nightlife is a common term for the collection of entertainment that are available from in the late evening to the early morning hours. These include parties, bike shows, bars, and clubs, all of which there will be no physical distance and are all crowded areas. The Jamaican people are too stubborn and daring, and necessary measures need to be put in place to control them. One cannot say that these lockdowns are breaching his or her rights of freedom of movement, because the Disaster Risk Management Act states that the government is responsible for having an office that develops policies and programs which can be implemented to achieve and maintain an appropriate state of national and sectoral preparedness for coping with all emergency situations which may affect Jamaica. The spike in COVID-19 cases is an emergency that needs to be addressed, and lockdowns are addressing this problem. These lockdowns are for the citizens' benefit, not just the government. There wouldn't have to be a lockdown in the first place if the citizens are obeying the protocols, but no, they have to do their own thing. The government says not to do something, but instead not accepted. But instead, the citizens are doing it and putting the lives of everyone else at risk. The problem with some person is that they are too selfish. My first speaker said that the people are ungrateful when they are complaining about the lockdowns. And this is true because government is trying their best to protect us by putting in the necessary measures. If you are so against the lockdowns, I would love to hear your alternative strategies to lower the COVID-19 cases, because the governments have tried multiple methods and only the lockdowns have produced successful rates. These lockdowns measures impact the country both economically and health-wise. My second speaker stated that the lockdowns are useful as it helps to flourish the economy, as the country went through an economic devastation when the vicious virus was not accepted. We need a healthy labor force, because a labor force with only sick employees does not make any sense. These lockdowns are helping to reduce the cases, which means that less persons are getting sick, which in turn means more persons are helping to build back our economy. The proposition stated that our students need to go to school because they are our future labor force. Would you prefer the students to go to face-to-face classes in a pandemic where their lives are at risk? To youth at risk? What are degrees and educational qualifications that you cannot use because you are dead? What are degrees really? Will it bring you back to life? No, I am sure it won't. You cannot say that students need to attend classes and put their lives in jeopardy. Your foolish ideology that lockdowns are unnecessary is quite hilarious, because how can you argue that lockdowns are not helping when the statistics show that there is a reduction in the cases since the lockdown? Again, how can you argue with facts? It is simply impossible, because facts are one of the hardest arguments to refute. The opposition rests their case.
Well. Let me take a breath and take a minute. Can I ask the members of the proposing team just to turn on your cameras so I can just pin you back to the screen? I'm looking for end caller now. Wow. 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 I don't know if me not wanna feel. The third speaker, yeah, should be in a good race track. She said, if your ear is deaf, you don't got who can't hear will feel. And she defined and she said, nightlife. What is about nightlife? Boy, you're rough. Me not gonna lie, some strong arguments were given, good examples, some good punches were felt. Boy, I don't. I think the judges will have a hard task. Judges, after we have heard the rebuttal, you'll be placed in a breakout room for you to meet and discuss your final results. And we'll be selecting the best speaker and the best debater, and then the winner overall. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if I don't know if you see a winner yet. Let me see what is in the chat. You see a winner, just type your winner. Just type upper school or lower school. Upper school or lower school. Because it's time for rebuttals. Team, it's time for rebuttals. Time for rebuttal. I see one upper school, one lower school. Lower school, upper school, upper school, upper school. I see somebody say George's win. All right. Everybody did well. Lower school, upper school. All right, somebody say upper school for sure, lower school, all the way. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you have heard from the opposition. You have heard from the proposition. So both teams have made their point on this important moot. Be it resolved, the imposed lockdown by the government is unnecessary and does not aid in the reduction of the spike in the COVID-19 cases. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for rebuttals. Teams, are you ready for your rebuttal? And of course, we know that the opposing team will go first, and then the opposing team will come to close off this debate. Ladies, gentlemen, parents, friends, and family, judges, it's now time for the rebuttal. Let's welcome the opposing team to give their rebuttal.
I'm sorry if there are some noises in my background. I apologize. You guys are hearing me? Am I audible?
We're
Am I
hearing
audible?
you.
All right, thank you. For the interest of time and the timekeeper, I will begin after 3. 1, 2, 3. The proposition wants us to believe that the lockdown measures are unnecessary. The simple ideology that they put forward, that the curve is flattening so we can start lifting the restrictions now, is basically like saying the parachute has slowed out of rate of descent, so we can take it off now. Which are two equally absurd concepts, if you ask me. Your second speaker spoke about locked up won't let me down. Let us examine the concept of being locked up. Sounds like being in a prison to me. A prison, a place of confinement, especially for lawbreakers, specifically an institution for confinement of persons convicted of serious crimes. If you want to see the lockdowns as imprisonment, I am bold enough to say then you are right to do so. I mean, if you consider being forced to stay inside and be comfortable to save yourself from, and I repeat, a deadly virus, I mean, sign me up for imprisonment. Probably I'm like Nicodemus and I just don't understand the statement put forward by the proposition. Or probably their ideology just needs to be born again and reconceptualized. You are saying psychological and spiritual issues. Many people said the pandemic and lockdown saved them. Personally, it saved me. It helped me to reconnect with people who I haven't spoken to in years, helping me to battle some mental health issues. I think this is not an excuse to throw out our arguments and the arguments in general. The pandemic and lockdown gives us more time to spend with God. So your argument about it dampening spirituality is quite unfactual. In regards to those persons who lost their jobs, are we neglecting the efforts of the government? Might as well throw the country to anarchy and social destruction. You speak about the numbers showing a decrease because less persons are being tested. Wouldn't that make sense since the lockdowns are keeping persons inside, meaning that the virus would affect less persons? I don't know. Maybe I just have no sense of circular logic. You speak about the fallout in the economy cannot thrive on a sick population. So be my guest. Probably you can volunteer as tribute. I must also say to you, the other arguments that you brought forward to this opposition were shut down in their tracks by my other two opposition members. Finally, you speak about alternative methodologies which will help to remove the necessities of the lockdown. But I mean, all I'm hearing is employ more people. Removing the lockdown to send people to their slow deaths? Absolutely not. Make it make sense. Anyways, let me hope that the judges are not as deaf as the population of Jamaica and our messages does not fall flat but falls right on their capable ears. This is not the gospel like Nicodemus tells us, but the opposition has nothing but good news. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brown. Thank you very much for bringing us the information and the conclusion from the opposing team. Is the proposition ready for the closing arguments in the rebuttal?
Yes, I am.
Let's now welcome the rebuttal from the proposing team.
Lonely, I'm Mr. Lonely. They quarantine me and lock me down. My unfortunately misguided opponents, it is indeed sad that as children of the 21st century, you have allowed yourselves to be so misguided. Shouting is not debating. Saying facts without real evidence is ludicrous. You talk about comfort. You may be comfortable. What of the child being abused? Who is selfish now? You kept saying people need to be locked down for their own good and that the lockdown is working. But please, clear this up for me. If it is in fact working, why are the numbers still climbing? You were kind enough to call our brothers and sisters ignorant and ungrateful. However, if they are not educated correctly, then ignorance is a given. And as far as for being ungrateful, I'm sure you are grateful for the lack of human interaction. Grateful for the limited resources, I'm sure the roughly 70% of students out of school must be grateful. Mr. Lady Second Speaker, you contradicted yourself in saying, Mr. Second Speaker, you contradicted yourself in saying we must present facts and our facts are flawed. If they are facts, they are facts. You also said more quality time is being spent among families. Are we in the same country? Look at the JCF's page with the many children running away, or the granddaughter who murdered and buried her grandmother. Need I continue? This cat and mouse game we are playing with COVID 19 is ridiculous. The truth is, lockdown, testing stops, numbers go down. Lockdown is removed and the true numbers are revealed. Grateful, ungrateful, bad mind, whatever you want to call it, the measure is not working.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, judges, parents, friends on Zoom, on YouTube, we have come to the end of this interesting match. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Judges, you have a hard task in front of you. Hard task after the man come and he says, imprisonment, sign me up. I wonder if anybody in here wants to sign up for imprisonment. Or is it no sense of circular logic that can be applied? Anyways, I hope that it don't fall on deaf ears, because the gospel of good news is here. But then the lower school said, shouting is not debating. Are you talking about abuse? Not educated? 70% of persons outside of school? Hmm? Cat and mouse not playing? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we await the judges' response. At this time, the judges will be moved into their breakout room. Judges, you are now gone into the breakout room. Judges, look on your screen, and you see the judges have arrived in the breakout room. So let we have a little discussion out here. Now, ladies and gentlemen, who do you think win?
First part.
All right. So let me say upper school. Some people say upper school, lower school.
School
Everybody.
family.
All right. But before we continue, there is now a presentation by Mr. Scott. Mr. Scott is now coming to make a presentation. We'll give a 3 minutes presentation on the debating society. Mr. Scott?
So, good afternoon, everyone. It's just a short thing on what we have done, what we have been doing, and why you should join the debating society. So, we at the debating society, we are a joint society with the United Nations Club. We meet on a Monday at 3 p.m. sharp. In the United Nations Club, it aids students to learn about the United Nations and international issues such as the environment and poverty, just to name two of the issues. It also provides a simulation of the United Nations Assembly known as MODUN or MU. As a very exciting thing, you get different field trips and exposure to the world of the United Nations. Now, the debating aspect of the club, we teach different skills because debating is not just about shouting points, as the lower school first speaker stated. Despite what you see on Jamaican Parliament, that's not what debating is all about. The Our motto in debating is do not raise your voice, improve your argument. The evidence is here today. The reason why many of us came back is because of the exciting debates that were here last week. And for those who weren't here last week, I'm sure someone told you about what happened. So you said you couldn't miss it. Members of the upper school teams last week were members of the debating society. So let me tell you about what we have done. Our accolades that we have won in our past previous competitions. In January, Kayla Price, that was the member of the opposing upper school team last week, won 2 awards for public speaking and 1 for debating, where she not only debated, but she Iron Man. This is a term that you learn in debating. It simply means that you do the debates without any teammates. That is a very hard task to do, but she came through and overcame that. The upper school team for this debate with Antonisha, Shaquille, and Abigail. Antonisha won the best speaker for the entire competition that we entered in February. And a team consisting of myself, Shaquille, and Antonisha were placed third throughout the competition. And I must confess, here in these debates, we hear a lot of big terms, a lot of big words. I saw someone on the status said that they have a dictionary in their hand when listening. And you might say you want to join debate, but you don't know these big terms. That's not the only thing we do at debate. We don't just spew big terms. We teach different things. Debating is not just you come and you already know what to do. It's a learning process. Everyone can learn and everyone will learn. You might hear this fast speaking from the upper schoolers. Yes, speed debating is a very useful tactic for you to get your points across. It's not always required, but it's very efficient, so you get all your points across in an effective manner because you may have a long speech and you want to get everything through in your slotted time frame. And speed debate is not just about talking fast because your words can get jumbled and mixed up and no one hears what you're saying. It's all about enunciating and pronouncing the word. So we also teach that. And different formats of debating. You have British parliamentary debating. We will have World School debate that we're doing here and the Burger King debate. Normally, Burger King debate is what we do in the secondary level. British parliamentary would go on to the tertiary level as in British parliamentary debate, you hear the moot only 15 minutes before the debate starts. So you have a little time to prepare that. But here in the club, we teach the 3 different formats. World School is a fairly new one to Jamaica as an attempt to put Jamaica on the world map of debating. We teach these 3 different formats so you are well adaptive to any environment that you go into debate and well versed in any forms of debating. In debating clubs, we aid with speaking and speaking clearly. Debating techniques that you learn don't only last in the club itself. You can take it into your classroom, academically. Wherever you go, you can take these values and lessons that you learn in debating with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Scott. And as he stated earlier, they're still recruiting members. So if persons are, if you're interested in joining the debate society, you are able to do so. So please reach out to them if
How
you're
can we
interested in
join
joining the debate society.
excuse me, sir, how can we join the debate society?
All right,
Oh,
Mr. Scott.
yes, thank you for that question. Just tell us your name and we will use your name to access your George's email and send you a link. Please type your name in the chat. Either myself, Miss Cameron, or Miss White, or Abigail will see that and write it down. You'll get invitation by no later than today.
That send you like a private message or just
You can do that or just type it in the general chat so anyone can see it.
Okay, and Carla, I got you.
All right, so we realize that we're getting members for this important club or society, the debating society. The St. George's College does not own the right to any music being played throughout this Zoom and on YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're waiting on the judges. Remember, this is George's week. This is George's week. Mrs. Danai? Miss Danai?
Yes,
Is Mrs.
sir. Good afternoon.
Do you want to remind him of the different activities for this week?
Hi, good afternoon. Okay, sir. Thanks, no problem. Good afternoon, everyone. If you will allow me, sir, could you just allow me to share my screen? Yes, just give me a second. All right, so good afternoon, everyone. I would just like to take the opportunity to welcome you to this year's St. George's College Week and our first official competition for the week, the debating competition. We had the church service this morning and it was beautifully done. And as I sat down here this evening listening to the debaters, I am so, again, I'm gonna express my awe, just how beautiful they sound. Even the first farmers, I cannot believe how much they have worked so hard, and we're seeing the fruit of their labor being heard this afternoon. So I would like to just say to the parents, to the teachers, to the fellow persons who are here supporting them, keep supporting them, because I know this is not the end of the road for them with their debating talents. And so this I'm very happy to say that I'm happy that we would have been able to provide the medium for us to see such talent from such a tender age. And that's what we want to emphasize here for St. George's Week. We have a lot of talent, we have a lot to offer, and we want our students to know that we will try to shape them the best way we can, and we are using the resources that we have in order to help them. So as you can see on the calendar of event in front of you now, we have various activities, we have various competitions that we will be hosting for this week up until Friday. And so you can take a look at them. We have the quiz competition, which is actually a quiz Jeopardy competition tomorrow evening, same time, same place. Throughout the day, tomorrow we're going to have the student leaders engaging the students in various fun games and activities. Of course, a lot of prizes to be won then as well. And on Wednesday, we have our our DJ competition that we, of course, would like to see different talents and creativity coming from our students here at St. George's College. And then we're going to top it off on Thursday, not a competition, but a panel discussion with some of our old boys who would have been where they're at, sat where they're at, and know what it feels like to prepare for what is to come. And so as we look at our theme, oh, here we are, honoring our past, embracing our present, and inspiring our future, we would like to take the time to just show our students what it takes to work towards where the old boys are now. How can we get there? And so we're going to be focusing on different areas. And so I'm encouraging the students to come out, make the most of it, ask as many questions as is possible. And so when you leave St. George's Week, it's not going to feel any way different than previous years, because you would have been engaged in various ways. And on Friday, we're going to have the Magis Awards ceremony at 12:30, after which the Magis Awards ceremony will end about 2, 3, thereabout. and then we're going to start our ST.G.C Lime. That is like an after party that we would have known in the physical space. Unfortunately, we can't do it in the physical space, so we intend to do it virtually. So I'm here. I'm here to support you, and I'm also asking you to support the cause. We want to ensure that you make the most of this week. Let it be as memorable as possible. And just finally to share that, keep abreast with what is happening on social media. There are different things that we're posting, different facts, different points that we want to share about the school. And so we're gonna ask you to just stay tuned, watch what is happening. There are questions that will be asked there as well about our history. It will include sports, it will include our previous principals, Jesuits that have passed through the school, etc. So stay tuned. Feel free to reach out to me and get involved. I urge you. I'm commending you for all the work you've been putting in, and I know that at the end of this week, it will be a memorable one for you. Thank you so much for allowing me to share, Mr. Brown. Back over to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nine. Of course, remember we continue tomorrow with the student leadership games from 11 a.m. until 12. And then it is a quiz competition at 3 p.m. on Tuesday. And then the excitement continues on Wednesday, April 21st for the DJ competition at 3 p.m. And of course, a very interesting panel discussion on Thursday, April 22nd. And we top off the week with the award ceremony at 12:30 p.m. And of course, with all fun and games, we must lime it out, and we start the lime at 3 p.m. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let us all meet at all these events throughout the entire week. This is George's Week 2021 celebration. We are honoring our past, embracing the present, and aspiring our future. Now, now again, remember the prizes for the debate for this wonderful match. Remember, first place will get individual trophies, gift baskets, and phone cards. And remember, second place will also receive medals and phone cards. Everyone will be a winner for this debate competition. Now, ladies and gentlemen, tell me the truth. You can open your mic and speak. Do you believe that the lockdown is solving the issue of the COVID spike? Nobody?
I do, sir.
All right. So Mr. Green believes that the lockdown is solving this is helping to control the spike. Anybody else?
No, not really, sir.
All right, Mr. Silpot said not really. The numbers still going up. People still not going. COVID spike. Yes, education. Not so much. All right. Kinda. I said somebody said kinda. Persons are saying yes. Kinda. Yes. So would you prefer to be in school at this
Definitely.
time? Would you prefer to be in physical school now or work with online?
Yes.
Physical, sir.
Not really. Not really, no. No.
All right, so somebody said 50-50 ends where we can't decide which side we're on now. The lockdown can be effective, but people are just unruly. All right. Kind of bad language. Yes and no, definitely. It is, somebody saying it's iffy. Somebody says, look in Cayman, because of the lockdown in Cayman, Cayman is now free of COVID. Physically all the way. Who dead? Who just dead? Somebody just dead because it's good and bad each side. They follow protocols. Somebody says, fittest of the fittest will survive in this COVID. Now, are we therefore saying, are you willing to take the vaccine? Because for us to survive, we might need to take the vaccine. All right, some people say, yes, I'm willing to take the vaccine. No vaccine. Yes, sir. Give me the vaccine so I can go and enjoy myself. I will take it. People ready to enjoy. People want to get back to life. People ready to see other persons. Not yet. Some person.
Excuse me, Mr. Brown.
Go ahead, sir.
The internet apparently just went. I need to go back into the breakout room.
You're using Christian Jackson's name.
Right.
All right, give me a minute, please. All right, so persons are saying we need to. I'm waiting for more information before any conclude on any conclusive decision. I don't think the vaccine is ready. Look at the test persons in the chat, huh? But with Cayman, they have much smaller population than Jamaica. So the lockdowns were more effective. Then again, it could be effective here as well if our population was more cooperative. No? Very two good points. That Cayman is smaller and they're very cooperative. But also remember, depends on what the country depends on to survive. To survive the population. So, for example, some persons depend on we say hand to mouth. So it's about how do we get these things. Jamaicans just stubborn and cannot be pleased. Look at North Korea. Just remember that some persons and for persons here, you know that your parents work hard, and because of COVID, some persons have lost their jobs. So there are good and there are bad things that may come about. Also to be mentioned, they did not lock down. So it's quite interesting to see persons saying what would do within this given time. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, remember to keep safe, wear your mask, and of course, apply the distance rule. This is the St. George's College. It is George's Week 2021 virtual debate competition. Who will it be? Let us listen to some music. Just remember, just remember, just remember that any music played here, St. George's College does not have the right to this information. This is a trivia question. Let us see anybody who can answer this trivia question, and you'll win yourself a phone card. Listen up for this trivia question. This knight attended St. George's College from 1981 to 1922. At the time of his death in 1974, he was the seventh most learned person in the world. Who is he? Anyone can open their mic and give us the answer. You'll be a winner.
Mr. Gladstone.
Yeah, Gladstone, me say cannot count.
Sir, I said it.
Monsignor.
This mistake before.
All right, all right, so I see an answer in the chat and I heard somebody first. Miss Danai, who is the winner? Oh, they want the correct name. The correct name was not given. Miss Danai asked for the correct name.
Father Monsignor Gladstone.
All right, is that the correct name, Miss Danai?
Father Monsignor Gladstone Wilson.
Father Monsignor much better than that, sir.
All right, so seems that
I'm
we're
hearing different responses. So
All right, Reverend Monsignor Gladstone. All of the name?
everybody trying for this one.
Whole name.
This why
Reverend Monsignor Gladstone Wilson.
We need more than that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so right, Reverend Monsignor Gladstone Orlando Standstill. Miss, me can't call the name, Wilson.
Yes, you have to call it Miss.
Sir,
Gladstone Orlando Stanislaus Wilson.
Wilson.
All right.
All the name.
Hold on.
I hear a student. Mr. Green. Go ahead, Mr. Green.
Reverend Monsignor Gladstone Stanislaus Wilson, class of 1921, PhD, MA, BA, Honors, BD, DD, DCL, BCL, FRSA, diploma in social science.
All right, well informed. Who was that, Josiah?
Yes, that is Mr. Green.
All right.
Somebody
Thank
said,
you.
somebody said, big up to Google. Well, he got the answer.
Well, you got the
The
answer.
answer. He got the
So
answer.
me, hold on. Is Orlando not one of the name? Cause I didn't hear that.
You
Maybe,
didn't.
Tell
maybe
me,
you,
City Ireland.
maybe you didn't hear, but we heard it.
I heard his name.
Gladstone, Orlando,
I heard.
Stanislaus Wilson.
All right, Miss Dana, do we have any more giveaway? Can do we have any more giveaway? Okay, because seems like
I am going to
seem that
give
we.
me a sec.
I think we need to give out. So Mr. Green got the first one. Mr. Green can't compete in this second one. I'm waiting for the next question from Mr. Nye, so that we can get this ball a roll. How do we sign up for this event again? How do we sign up for the events? Can somebody answer without Mr. Nye being here? How do we sign up for the events such as these? How do we sign up for the you can send a message, you can check the Instagram pages.
Second MP, please.
Miss Cameron, Mr. Kenton, Mr. Nye, Miss White.
Yes, sir.
How do we sign up for these activities? That is for the week. How do we sign up? How do we get
So the
involved?
flyers were sent to their various classrooms, and the information with the links also was sent to their email, their ST.G.C email, so they can check that.
All right, so get involved, get involved. I'm waiting for the next trivia question. This is the St. George's College Virtual Debate Competition 2021. Who will it be? Will it be upper school or lower school? Who will it be in this wonderful virtual debate competition? We wait for the next trivia question, and then who will take home this wonderful prize? Again, the St. George's College doesn't have no right to the songs being played within this meeting. All right, the next question is here. The next question is here. Are we ready for the next question?
Sir, please ask them to write it in the chat.
All right, okay. So nobody else, everybody stop texting now. Stop texting. Don't send any more messages, please. Stop texting so that we can have the chat area free so that we can get ready. Right, listen to the question. Name at least 5 old boys that are currently members of staff at the college. Name at least 5 old boys that are currently members of staff. Somebody say Orange. Orange Shaw. Name them. Put it in one message. Put it in one message. Put all 5 in one message. Put all 5 in one message. All 5 in one message. If you send it one, you're going to lose. You cannot put it in one message. You're going to lose. Name at least 5 old boys who are currently members of staff. I only say one. Nobody said don't anymore.
Please name the member of staff and the department that they're a part of.
Miss, I stress them. Second time with them.
Mr. Cannot too much.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Find 3.
All right, all right, I realize Mr. Phillips is saying Mr. Douglas, Mr. Marshall, Mr. Young, Mr. Shaw, Mr. Anderson. Miss Bogle says Mr. Miss Carlisle Brown, Otley Anderson, Mr. Hay, Mr. Shaw, Mr. Douglas. Someone says Mr. Shaw, Brown, Bell, Anderson. Somebody says Shaw, Lambie, Anderson, Brown, Young. All right, I've seen some incorrect answers, you know.
Yeah, me too.
I've seen a lot of incorrect answers. Mr. Lambie did not come to George's. So that one is out already. All right, I see. All right. I see Father. I say Father Toller is here too. Big up to Father Toller. Orange Shaw from Science, Utley from IT, Mr. Toller from Business, Mr. Rogers from Industrial, and Mr. Brown from IT. All right. Mr. Denai, have you found your winner?
Sir, is that the complete department? Because I hear half of the department, you know.
I'm asking
No,
Mr.
sir, I've
Denai.
not seen any winner, sir.
I'm struggling to see the winner also. I don't know if you have seen a winner.
No, sir, I've not seen any winner.
Remember, not because they're males mean that they came to St. George's College.
Excuse me, everyone. Um, for for the answers, you have to like give the correct name, like to say like Mr. Honley Anderson, or I can just write Mr. Anderson.
No, the correct name. It has to be their full name and the department they're part of. So take your time.
Name and the department that they're from.
You have 1 minute to go.
All right. See, Mr. Nice seems to bust them bubble. Nobody not responding. Mr. Manfast, he is humanities. Mr. Brown, IT and business.
There are two Browns in IT. I'm not sure which one you're referring to. There are two Browns in business and IT. I'm not sure which one you're referring to.
All right, I see. I see some people are sweat. Come like you have to bingo and person I try to figure out the answer. People are sweat. IT and business of the foreign persons, Mr. Ruan Toller, Mr. Huntley Anderson, and from science they're saying Mr. Orange Shaw. Then they're saying oh okay, so there are three persons. Look on Mr. Brown, look on Shaquille Brown to see if you look on Shaquille Brown if you see the answer. Give me a minute while I go check with the judges to see what's happening. Miss Danai, could you go and look the chat while I check with the judges?
I am looking. Okay, sir.
Mrs. Sarah winner already?
I am still looking. I'm not seeing any.
Is anyone speaking?
Nope.
All right, it seems like we have a winner, Renee Walsh. So Miss Walsh. So we have Orange Shaw from Science, Unclear Anderson from IT, which is Business and IT, Eric Douglas from PE, Carlisle Brown from IT, and Rohan Tolo from Business. All right. So Miss Walsh is our winner. Thank you so much for participating.
I will come for my prize tomorrow.
I will send the prize to you, Miss.
Okay.
I am also going to, I did not see Nicardo's response. Nicardo, are you here, Nicardo?
Yes, Miss.
Nicardo? Yes,
I,
your response is also correct. I've double checked the chat and I realized that you had the response. So I'm also going to, since you had given your response before Miss Walsh, I'm
Miss,
also going to give you a prize. All right?
thanks,
does
Miss.
father Tolo teach art?
Pardon me?
Does
Oh
father Tolo teach
no,
art?
no,
Miss
no,
Shakil and
Nicardo.
I were right.
No,
Shakil
it's
and
not
I,
right.
not
It's
Ricardo.
not Ari. It's not
Because
Ari. So it was incorrect then. Osh, osh, osh.
Okay, so while we wait on Sir, um, let me talk to the debaters. So debaters, how do you feel about your presentation today? And how do you feel about your team chances of winning? So Mr.
Personally,
Jerome, since I see you are typing, how do how was your presentation? How do you feel about your presentation?
Miss, can I answer?
Okay, go ahead, Nathan.
Miss, I am very confident in my team. I believe that we do have a very good chance of winning. I think we handled ourselves well and we answered POIs. So I think we have a very good chance at winning.
Lovely.
Boy, Nathan, you sound like the next head boy, man. I'm telling you, I'm so proud of you,
Lovely.
Nathan.
Thank
Confident.
you, Miss.
can
I see Nkala hand is up. Go ahead, Nkala.
like Nathan said, I think my team and I have done pretty well, even though a lot of people didn't expect us to get this far or even do this well. We handled ourselves, we got what we needed to be done, and we put up a good fight. So even if we don't win, I know that we did a good job.
Lovely, lovely. And
Miss, what I have
Nathan,
to say,
yes,
what I have to
Jerome.
say about the debate is that we put a lot of effort in it. We have all confidence and support that we might be able to win. And if we don't get the first place, we enjoyed that we still participated and we still achieved something.
Lovely. That's the spirit. That's the spirit. Good job. So for my next team, how are you feeling? How did you think you do? Do you think you're going to win?
Miss, I'm pretty confident in the upper schoolers' chances of winning, but the lower schoolers did really well for novice debaters because I'm not sure I could have done that in lower school. So
Okay, good job. You hear that, lower schoolers? They think you did really well. So you should clap yourselves. All right, can I hear from someone else from the team,
Anthony
Abigail's team?
or Shaquille.
Mr. Shaquille, what do you have to say? How did you think you do? Miss Antonesia?
I am very pleased. I'm very pleased with the efforts put out by the lower school team. I must commend them because, as Abby said, when I was in the debate, they were out here being seen and their voices are being heard. And we love that they want to join the debate club because talent like this with quality ears and we look
Yeah,
forward to seeing them going and participating in competitions as well.
good job, Miss Antonesia.
Okay, Miss, I'm very confident in my team. So if we're to win, we will win. And I must commend the lower schoolers because they're not experienced, but they came strong.
You see that confidence will take you a far way. They were so confident from the get-go. They came out the winner from the previous match that we had. And now they are in the finals and they are braffing, as we would say. They are out and stunting. Mr. Huntley say, go lower school.
Miss, the
Yeah.
lower school are good, Miss. Miss, especially in color, right? Miss, he was
And
very good.
Carla, you see them bigging you up?
Yes, Miss.
Vision. Oh my.
I just want to say thank you to them actually and to all like my classmates who come out and watch us.
Yes. So this seems like a paid match, a match that you came to see that you would have spent your money for.
Yes.
Anybody's feeling disappointed, or are you all glad that you are here to witness this? Mr. Right of Fans, Darrell said. And Carla, I see your name popping up in my chat. Go and Carla. All right, so our sister is back. Maybe he's telling us, he's about to tell us what we want to hear.
Well, I'm here. I'm here. I'm
Go ahead,
here.
sir.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I know you have waited long and very patient with us. And big up to the judges. Big up to the judges who put in a lot of work in this. It was a hard task. They spent almost 45 minutes trying to decide on a winner. Almost 45 minutes trying to decide on a winner. But the first thing we want to say is thank you to the parents, the teachers, the supporters, all the persons who came to give a helping hand. So put a hand together for yourselves. Put a hand together for yourselves. You did well. Now we want to note though that it was sixth form versus first formers. So put your hands together for the first formers. They did well. Put your hands together for the first formers.
Woo!
They came out. They represented for lower school, and they were not afraid of the Goliath. They were the David in this. There's a big up to Mr. Kenton. So I say big up to Mr. Kenton. Big up to the organizers. That is one of the organizers, Mrs. Cameron. Big up to Miss Danai. Big up to Miss White. Big up to all the first forms. Big up to supervisors. All the persons who made this possible. Ladies and gentlemen, after the Nicodemus, after the ungratefulness and the ignorance, after listening to the teacher, education, excitement, singing, the deadly pandemic, water, tea, and milk, lockdown, the different points of information, the different vision 2030 that is needed. Will it be a vaccine or weekend issue? Shall the deaf listen or will the person hear it? Who can hear, let him feel? Is it the night light? Is it going to be the imprisonment sign up? Is it a sense? It's a sense of circular logic. Is it the gospel of good news? Shouting is not debating. Abuse, not being educated. 70% of persons are out of school. Is it the cat and mouse? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the results are in. And if you look to my screen, the results are in. Remember, we're all winners. We're all winners. We're all winners. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you very much for the full support that you have given to the teams. And remember, we continue tomorrow with George's Day. But for this celebration, somebody say me heart, anxiety, the pain, the excitement, the judges were in it also. And for the second place winner for this debate competition, and remember, we're all winners. Give it up for lower school.
I know everybody I go like we, still we irie.
Give it up for lower school.
No dancer style. I know everybody I go like we, still me irie. Cause we no love like no. So every time I rise, we do it for the love, we not do it for the life.
Big up to lower school. Big up to lower school. And of course, for this wonderful debate, the best speaker go to Encolorite, and the best debater goes to Mr. Shaquille Brown.
DJ Bravo. DJ
Therefore,
Bravo.
ladies
DJ
and gentlemen,
DJ
boys
Bravo.
and girls,
champion,
give it up for
champion,
upper school,
champion,
upper school.
Everybody knows say Bravo a champion, 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 champion.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, parents, friends, and family, we thank you very much for making your way to this wonderful virtual debate. If you enjoy yourself, just give me some shout, give me some heart, give me some emojis. If you enjoy the debate, give me some heart, some shout, some give me some shout, give me some messages, some heart. Big up to the team. Big up
Yes,
to the team.
sir.
Big up to the team. Big up to the lower school. Big up to the upper school. Big up to the teachers. Big up to
What was the
everyone who
score,
took
sir? What
part.
was the
Big up.
score?
This
What was the
was
score, sir?
Big up to the two teams.
big up to both teams. Congratulations.
Yes, yes.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Because it's all good. And of course, remember, the St. George's College doesn't have the right to the songs being played. That is
Excuse me, sir.
Dumpling, wait, 1 minute. Dumpling from Styler J, championed by DJ Bravo, and Do It for the Likes by Chronix. Go ahead, sir.
Sir, do you have like know the points?
Let me seek permission if we discuss the scoring. Mrs. Cameron, do we discuss the scoring?
We can tell them, sir. Yes, we can.
Okay, so the scoring will be lower school 311 and upper school 317.
You see how close that was?
So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, remember, 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 we don't have any copyright to the music being played. So congratulations again to lower school. So congratulations again to lower school. You did it for lower school. You represented for lower school. And of course, congratulations to Mr. Nkala Wright and Shaquille Brown. And of course, big up to the champions from upper school. Again.
DJ Bravo, DJ Bravo, DJ Bravo.
And of course, we want to say big up to our principal, Mrs. Margaret Campbell. Big up to the VPs. I saw Mrs. Suzette Mullins Douglas here. And of course, big up to the lower school VP, Mr. Christie. This was the virtual debate competition. COVID can't stop we. We are here, St. George's Week 2021. I was your host, the one and only Leroy Brown. I thank you. Always representing St. George's College. See you tomorrow. How will you get your medals? We will make contact with you via phone. You get contact via phone for this. Mr. Hay and Mr. D are marking on the screen. Mr. Hay, you're marking on the screen. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being with us. And again, congratulations to Upper School.
Sir?
Yes?
So I just want to use the time to just say a few thank yous to a few persons.
Go ahead, miss.
Okay, so I just want to say thank you to my team, the persons that were working with me, Devashia White, that's Miss White, Miss Cole, Mr. Kenton, Mr. Watt, our judges, Mr. Mitchell, Mr. Samuels, Miss Dear. I want to thank my host, Miss Anderson, and you, sir, who doubled also as our technical expert. To the debaters, today was wonderful. I'm sure if we had paid money to come and hear you today, we would leave feeling pleased, knowing that it would have been money well spent. Also, I would want to take this opportunity to thank Ms. Danai for entrusting me with this task to plan and to execute this competition. Thank you very much for your faith in me, and thank you very much for working alongside me. And today was good, and it was truly good to be here with all of you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, and ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being such a wonderful audience. And again, congratulations to lower school, congratulations to upper school, and remember, we're all champions. Again, remember, St. George's College has no rights, no copyright to the songs being played. And of course, we see you tomorrow for the next grand event. Please come and support your different teams. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, until then. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, also, sir, we will contact them to tell them how they can collect their prizes. So we have all the numbers, so we will give you a call.
Please listen out for a call.
Please, my phone is dead.
We will email you. If it is that you do, the number that you gave us is no longer working, we will email you via your ST.G.C email.
Big up the ex man and even brother Papa son. Big up the life. Jesus Christ, do it for the love, we not do it for the lights. We not do it for the lights. Do it for the love, we not do it for the lights. Do it for the love, we not do it for the lights. Do it for the love, we not do it for the lights. Make them know success don't come overnight. Don't make them know a substance over hype. Do it for the love, we not do it for the lights.
DJ Bravo, DJ Bravo, DJ Bravo, DJ Bravo. Champion, 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 champion. Everybody knows say Bravo a champion. Champion, 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 champion. Everybody know Chris Gale is a champion. Beanie a champion, Bounty a champion, Marshall is a champion, Bungie is a champion, Folland is a champion, Lara is a champion, Gale is a champion. Don't forget Michael Jordan, Obama a champion, Mandela a champion, Serena a champion, Wendy a champion, Shelly and a champion, 958 Bolt a champion. Champion, 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 champion. Everybody knows say Bravo a champion. Champion, 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 champion. Everybody knows say Bravo a champion. Champion, champion, we are real champion.
And now, ending the meeting.
Yes, sir, you can go ahead.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you again at the next St. George's College event. Have yourself a good evening.